What's going on, y'all? This is Pito. This week in Men's Health, we're dealing with self-love. We're going to go over a few topics. We're going to talk about self-sabotage. We're going to talk about being compassionate with yourself. We're going to talk about celebrating yourself. And we also going to talk about curbing social media. Y'all with me? Let's get it. It's Men's Health. All right. Number one, talking about being compassionate with yourself. This is a process. It ain't easy. You got to take it step by step and learn how to be compassionate with yourself. It's never an overnight process. Everything comes in increments. If you're expecting it to just happen overnight or one big boom, it's not going to happen like that. You got to learn a process. First off, in my belief, you got to understand what's going on with yourself. It ain't always as simple as it's just one thing that happened or another. Sometimes it could be a multitude of things. So you being compassionate with yourself and understanding where you at and where you want to go and where you want to be, sometimes you got to take an inventory of what you've been through in your past and understanding that. And understand that that's going to take time. It's not going to just be a quick process and be over overnight. So what we're going to do is take time to figure out what's going on with you, where you've been and where you want to go. And it takes time. Be patient with yourself. Don't get frustrated. Don't get upset. And don't give up so easily when it ain't going as fast as you want it to go. And understand, the slower it go, the better the process will work in the long run. You with me? Number two, we're talking about celebrating yourself. You're going to have ups and downs, highs and lows, valleys and peaks. So during this process, I want you to take some time out to recognize and understand your progress, where you've been and where you're going. I know I keep saying that, but I just want you guys to understand you keeping track of your progress will really help when you look back to really recognize how far you've been and where you came from. That's what I want you to do. I want you to make a list, a daily list of your accomplishments. And just sometimes sit back and reflect on what you've accomplished and where you came from. We get taught too much not to toot our own horn, not to celebrate the small things too often. I feel like for us to appreciate where we're going and where we're coming from, we really got to take note and understand the work that we put in and sometimes appreciate that. There's nothing wrong with that. You'll hear way too often, that ain't no big deal, that's small, that ain't nothing. Nah, that's serious. That's a significant step to where you want to go. Pay attention to the progress. And that's payoffs of everything that you're doing. That's the work that you're putting in. So I don't want you to just so easily dismiss it, ignore the progress that you take. Celebrate yourself. Understand that you're working and you're working hard towards a goal that you're going to accomplish one day. So let's not ignore the celebrations of ourselves for the things that we do. And we could do it quietly. You don't have to involve everybody into that celebration. That celebration could be between you and yourself. Because a lot of times we make them phone calls and we tell people about the progress that we made, that we proud of. They be quick to shoot it down. And that tension, that idea, and everything that you feel about what you just did go right out the window. So let's celebrate these small wins internally. That's the best way to go about you. If you do have a support system where they can celebrate it with you, even better. But most of all, I just want you to take note and understand that you're winning and you headed in the right way. Speedo, let's get it. All right, number three is enjoying your time alone. Sometimes when you consistently surrounded by people, you can't take that inventory of what you really feeling and what you really going through. So sometimes you got to sit in this space and really get to know yourself. A lot of times you got to see if you even like being around yourself. You got to see even if you like yourself at all. Because a lot of times you may not even know who you are. You may be going strictly off of what other people have told you who you are. Other people's experiences of you. You got to sit down, get alone, meditate, really take inventory of what you've been through, how you feel, how your experiences are at work, with everything you're dealing with. You can really start seeing and understanding the process of where you at emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. I read a book the other day. It said when you meditate, don't just meditate to be calm. Meditate to scan your body. And wherever you feel tensed at, wherever you feel these stressed areas at, is where you need to pay attention to. So that's what I mean. When you getting alone and you quiet all that noise, you get to start recognizing things that you didn't when you constantly surrounded by people. When you at work, when you working out, when you doing all these busy things in this world, you don't really take an account to where you at. But when you quiet everything, when that noise, silence, and everything, you by yourself alone, you can really start understanding who you are, understanding what you need to work on. And you get to learn yourself better and get to know what you need to work on. So you with me? So let's start trying to enjoy that time alone, learning who we are a little better, and learning where we need to go. Pito, you with me? Number four is curbing social media. You got to understand, everything that you're looking for is everything you need is inside of you. None of this is outside of you. None of this is out of your realm. We get too busy looking at The Rock, looking at Kevin Hart, looking at Beyonce and everything they got going on, not knowing they got their own issues. They got their own bullshit they dealing with. We get so caught up in looking at other people's lives and other people's situations and forget to focus on our own. Forget to pay attention to what we need to pay attention to. A lot of times you get depressed thinking like I'm not as far as I need to be. I'm not where I'm not going in the direction I need to go. And a lot of times you're doing the necessary work that you need to, especially if you're already dealing with your own mental issues, your own mental health, your own issues. Sometimes you're not strong enough to curb that. You may see an ex with somebody else and it completely derail everything you got going on. Sometimes you might see somebody that make you jealous. These are natural human traits. But what I want you to do is sometimes turn it off. Get in your zone. Focus what you need to focus on. Get on the grind so you become the individual that they're paying attention to. You become other people's motivation. And you just believe me, it's people watching you. A lot of times we're looking outside of ourselves. A lot of times we're looking for things that we don't feel like we possess. So we're looking for all these external sources to figure out life. A lot of times what we need to do is get in our own pocket, get in our own focus, and understanding what we need to do. Sometimes you got to figure that out. That ain't always an easy process. I understand that. But understanding that social media ain't always your friend. Knock out all the noise. Cut that out for a moment. It's somewhat like you're going on a fast. Sometimes you need to just step away from the food. Sometimes you need to step away from the toxic friends. Sometimes you need to step away from the job so you can really focus where you want to go and understand where you want to go. So let's step away from social media. Let's give it a pause. Let's stop worrying about everybody else's life and focus on what we need to do. Get in that pocket, get in that bag, and do what we need to do. You with me? It's Pito. Let's get it. All right, number 5. I want you to stay hopeful. I want you to stay diligent. I want you to have faith in your process. You like the Sixers say, trust the process. I want you to stay diligent on this path for self-love. I want you to understand that you're worth it. I want you to understand that you are worth this process. Don't give up. Don't get frustrated. Don't let the world distract you. Understand that you are worth love. And the only person that can love you the way you need to be loved is yourself. You got to take inventory. You got to figure out what's going on. You got to meditate. You got to read. You got to eat better. You got to work out. You got to do all these things to come to a better understanding to love yourself. But if you're not doing anything, you're just sitting in the house and you're not working on towards any goal whatsoever, it's going to be hard for you to really stay hopeful. Because what are you hoping for? They say faith without works is dead. So I need you to start putting in some work. I need you to start putting in some time. Not just rely on medicine, not just rely on the doctor, not just rely on your friends, not just rely on this new job. It ain't gonna be no big boom of happiness. All your happiness and everything gonna come from the work that you put in with yourself. Get off of social media, get away from your friends, get by yourself, take an inventory where you at, and start working on you. But stay hopeful, stay faithful, and stay diligent. It's Pito, it's Men's Health. I'm out.